some people have the nerve to blame the Ukrainians of all people for the lack of compassion for the Russian victims of Crocus City Hall attack. I tell you why we don't care. On the same day as the attack at Crocus City Hall, Russia carried out its single largest attack to date on the Ukrainian energy grid, leaving more than 1 million people without power. Among other things, it fired 8 cruise missiles at the largest Ukrainian dam. Russia attacked the city of Zaporizhia, and the consequences you can see here on the photos, and other cities throughout Ukraine. On Friday, the same day of this Crocus City Hall attack, Russia fired in all 88 missiles and 63 kamikaze drones into Ukraine, and that represents just a single day of a Russian war of terror towards Ukraine that has gone for more than 2 years now. Here you can see in the center a woman grieving the death of her son and granddaughter, and only fragments of their bodies were recovered and identified only by DNA testing. And it is the same day of this Crocus City Hall attack. You can see here, one of the sites that was bombed in Zaporizhia the same day, and you can see all this area where family homes. Or we can remember the Kremenchuk shopping mall attack. You can see here the cities, the Crocus City Hall burning, and this mall is burning as well. And why it is burning? Because on June 27, 2022, Russian armed forces fired 222 cruise missiles into Amster shopping center, and there are quite a lot of people burned alive in this shopping center at that day. Or we can remember Mariupol theater airstrike. On March 16, 2022, Russians bombed drama theater in Mariupol. It was used as an air raid shelter during the siege of Mariupol, sheltering a large number of civilians there, and several hundred people were killed there. And you can see the word "deti," which means children, written or inscribed there to show that there are children inside. Don't bomb us, but Russians go on and bomb them anyway. So, and we can go on and on. So, why are Ukrainians so angry and unkind to Russians? Why such a lack of empathy and compassion? Because all the kind and gentle Ukrainians were killed in Irpin, Bucha, Mariupol, Odessa, Kremenchuk, Zaporizhia, and many other places. Russians week ago endorsed Putin. Once again, it weren't elections, it was endorsement of Putin's war and Putin's crimes and atrocities. And this Crocus attack was just a bloody coronation of Putin. Instead of discussing the murder of Navalny, human rights violations in state elections, mass murder of Ukrainian civilians, instead of discussing the terrorist bombings in Ukraine, Putin has created a pretext to extort condolences from the entire world, and not for the victims of the attack, but for himself personally. And for us Ukrainians, there is no difference between Tajiks, who took 500,000 rubles and went to kill Russians, and Russians who take that same 500,000 rubles, join Russian army, and go to Ukraine to kill Ukrainians. And we have not 4 terrorists. We have at least 400,000 terrorists right here in Ukraine, killing our people every day, committing unspeakable atrocities against civilians on the occupied territories. Atrocities that make everything the terrorists did in Crocus pale in comparison. And just to show you that it is not only Putin we are dealing with, Putin does what the overwhelming majority of Russians want him to do. That's why the propaganda is so successful. They are telling Russians what they want to hear. They are working with their natural inclinations. So look at this guy. His name is Kuklachev. He's a literal clown. Was very famous in 1980s. Every Soviet child of the 80s like me saw him almost daily on the TV. Now, he gave the interview just after this attack on Crocus, and here is what this nutjob piece of shit is saying. His words. And my commentary. Our people have now seen what West and Europe will do to us if, God forbid, they defeat us. So, the attack perpetrated by ISIS is exactly what European soy boys will do with poor Russians, and also see the victim mentality here. He speaks as if it is not them who attacked peaceful Ukraine, but as if they are a victim of attack, that somebody that they are defending, as if they are defending their own country from the aggression. They will shoot us down like sitting ducks. They will implant chips in us to make us their slaves. Everything is very clear, so not jobbed. What to say more? The entire Western world has rallied against us. Of course, it is for absolutely no reason. You have never attacked anybody. You are just peaceful people who were attacked, and the Western world just out of the blue rallied against you. And the Muslim world, on the contrary, is on our side, because they have realized that one cannot rely on people who are wicked, dirty, indifferent, who build everything on the destruction of what is pure and beautiful. And, this is an astonishing amount of projection here. As always, Russians attribute their intentions and actions to their enemies. We have seen this with our own eyes. So again, he and people like him have seen a bunch of ISIS terrorists, and they behave as if it was done by some French, British, Dutch, or other Europeans. We must talk to them even more harshly, sparing no one. So to Europeans, because of the ISIS attack. And here I think this is the real reason he is so angry at Europeans, not because of the attack, but about what he's saying next. Are they going to provide long-range missiles? Those who do so are criminals. So this is the real reason. And you see, the people who shoot missiles at Ukraine and Ukrainian children for more than 2 years now are, as he said, pure and beautiful, and those who give Ukrainians weapons to defend themselves are criminals. So they should be bombed too. So you see, Europeans should be bombed too. Because of what? Because of this attack? No. Because they are providing the weapons to defend, for Ukrainians to defend themselves. The attack is already forgotten to this point by this guy. So they should be bombed too. Why wait? In European cities, everyone sits well fed, drinking champagne, and I'm always astonished by the level of very animal, very base, and very hypercritical envy that Russians radiate, as if they never ate themselves, they never ate their fill, or they never drank champagne themselves. Go on. When they realize that a missile from Siberia could fly to them, they will understand that we are not puppies to be shot down. We are strong, powerful people who can put up a very serious resistance. And here you can see the expression of very typical Russian inferiority complex. And again, he is blaming Europeans, who has nothing to do with this attack. As I said, he already forgotten about, in this interview, about the attack. He is enraged that Europeans are providing Ukrainians with some weapons. And those who are particularly arrogant can be taken to some island and drowned so they don't interfere on the horizon and cause trouble. And this, I think, speaks for itself. They view mass atrocities and killing of those who disagree as normal and even desirable, because how dare they to live good lives, and make by contrast very obvious that Russians are not as great as they think of themselves. Well, what we can do? Today is such a time. Fortunately, there is necessary weaponry. That's exactly why Russians should be stripped of nuclear weapons. They are deranged. They are a menace to the whole world and to themselves. Our president has spoken about this. So, you see, naturally, Heil Putin. So, we are dealing with deranged, crazy, rabid, bloodthirsty, and at the same time very cowardly people with enormous inferiority complex. So, fuck them. We Ukrainians are normally very good-natured and compassionate people, but we will reserve our compassion for somebody who deserves it. Like we did towards Israelis after that horrific I'm sorry, after that horrific attack on October 7. For Russians, we have none. Russia, the landest.